All right, let's dive into this Jeffrey Gitomer's The Sales Bible. You picked a good one. This book is packed with good stuff. We're going to be talking about closing deals, building relationships, and just navigating the sales world like a pro. So are you ready to unpack some serious sales wisdom?
Absolutely. What I love about the Sales Bible is how Gitomer just cuts right to the chase.
Yeah.
He gives you this potent mix of like practical advice and then like right between the eyes, motivation, you know?
It's true. It's like he's challenging you to up your game right from the first page.
Yeah.
50% of success is believing you can.
Right.
That's a bold
It's
statement.
bold, Steve.
And it kind of sets the stage for his whole approach.
And it does. It does. He doesn't shy away from the mental game in sales.
Oh yeah.
In fact, he goes right for it. You remember that self-assessment quiz?
Yeah.
The Why Do Salespeople Fail chapter?
Uh-huh.
Where he's asking you, like, are you watching too much news? Are you letting, like, one bad day get to you? He's making you confront your inner naysayer right there.
Oh yeah, it's brutal. It's so true though, isn't it? Like all that negative self-talk can really sabotage you before you even start.
Oh, for sure.
I love that Zig Ziglar quote he throws in there. Failure is not about insecurity, it's about lack of execution.
Yes.
It's such a good one, right?
So good.
It's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about getting out there and doing it.
Yeah, taking action. And speaking of taking action, Gitomer is a perfect example of this.
Right,
This
yeah.
whole sales Bible thing started because, get this, he got rejected from a job.
Oh no.
I know,
What
right?
did he do?
He turned that rejection into a newspaper column called Sales Moves, which then, bam, became the Sales Bible.
Wow.
Mm.
That's like a master class in turning a setback into a win.
Right.
And, speaking of master classes, that whole thing about using Post-it notes to achieve your goals, I have to admit, I was skeptical at first. It sounded a little,
A little gimmicky.
but it's actually pretty smart.
Yeah, when you think about it.
What is it about?
It's like that visual reminder, those visual cues, right? You write down your goals,
Yeah.
big and small,
Yeah.
and you put them everywhere.
Yee.
Bathroom mirror,
Right.
your car, dashboard, like you name it.
Yeah.
It's about having that constant reminder staring you in the face.
So you see it all the time, and it kind of reinforces what you need to do.
Exactly.
Hey.
Have you tried this?
I have. It's actually really effective, more than you would think.
Really?
There's something about just saying those goals out loud every time you see the Post-it.
Right.
It's like making that promise to yourself and then having that visual reminder all day long. It's powerful.
So we've talked about mindset. We've got our goals.
Yeah.
But what about this wow factor he keeps mentioning?
Wow factor, yeah.
What's that all about?
So it's not about being flashy or gimmicky. It's about strategically setting yourself apart. He tells that story in the book about how he pitched his book, right?
Yeah. He went all out. He had mock-ups. He had letters of reference. He even put together a whole multimedia presentation.
Oh, wow.
He wanted to create this experience that just screamed, wow.
And it worked.
It did.
That's impressive. But he doesn't just tell you to be wow. He actually gives you 15 characteristics to measure yourself against, right?
Yeah.
Persistence, preparation, being creatively different.
It's all about figuring out what are my strengths and how do I use them to make that lasting impression.
Right. And probably even more important, recognizing your weaknesses and working on them.
That too.
Because that's how you go from ordinary to wow.
Exactly. And it's not like you arrive. It's an ongoing thing.
Right.
You're always trying to find ways to improve, to refine your pitch, to find those wow moments.
This is really making me think already.
Right. This is just the tip of the iceberg, really.
Mm-hmm.
What's resonating with you so far?
Honestly. That whole wow factor, I can already see how I could use that, even beyond sales, just like in life,
Yeah.
Like bringing your A game no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about the Sales Bible. It's not just about closing deals. It's about developing a winning mindset, period.
Okay, so we've got the right mindset. We're setting those goals. We're bringing the wow factor. But how do we actually navigate, the sales process itself?
So Gitomer has a lot to say about that. But it all starts with understanding this concept of the hot button. It's all about uncovering what your prospect really wants deep down.
Oh, okay. Tell me more about this hot button.
It's like, imagine this. You walk into a room, and you already know exactly what makes your prospect tick.
Okay.
You understand their deepest desires, their pain points, like what they're really trying to achieve. That's the power of finding their hot button.
So it's like the secret code to unlocking the sale? How do you even find that?
It's all about being, like, hyper-observant, like a detective.
Mm.
Gitomer gives us these 6 signs to look for, right?
Ah.
You might notice, like a raised eyebrow when you mention a certain benefit.
Oh, huh.
Or maybe they lean in,
Yeah.
when you touch on a specific problem.
So you're really reading their body language.
Absolutely. But it's also about listening super carefully. Like, what are they saying? Are they repeating certain phrases?
Right.
Are they going into a lot of detail about one particular challenge? Those are all clues.
Makes sense. If something's important to them, they're going to spend more time talking about it.
Exactly. And don't forget about those emotional cues, right? Like, did their tone change?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see a spark of excitement? Or maybe a flicker of frustration?
Yeah.
Those emotional reactions, that's gold.
Okay, so let's say you've done your detective work and you think you found their hot button. What then? Do you just, like, blurt it out?
Not quite. Gitomer gives us 5 different techniques for actually, like, pushing that hot button, right? Turning it into a sale. One approach is to ask these laser-focused questions that really highlight why this need is so important.
Okay.
Like, how much is this problem costing you? Or what would it mean for your business if you could solve this tomorrow?
So you're really making them think about the cost of inaction.
Exactly. Another technique is to, like, gently probe into areas where you suspect there might be a hot button, even if they haven't explicitly said it.
I see.
And then, once you're pretty sure you found it, that's when you start weaving solutions into the conversation.
Okay.
Kind of subtly positioning your product as the answer.
Subtly being the key word there.
Absolutely. It's about guiding them, not bulldozing them.
Right. You don't want to be pushy.
No. And this is where Gitomer says something really interesting. He says, more sales are made with friendship than with salesmanship.
Wait, really? That's not something you hear every day in the sales world.
I know, right? It's kind of brilliant, though. He's challenging that whole, like, hard selling, always be closing mentality.
Yeah.
Instead of treating it like a battle, he wants you to focus on building genuine relationships.
So it's more about connecting with people on a human level.
Exactly. He even talks about taking clients to ball games or art galleries.
Oh, really?
It's about finding those shared interests, those common grounds.
Yeah, right.
Showing them that you see them as more than just a number.
It's like building that and trust factor.
That's it. And speaking of trust, Gitomer reminds us that often our best prospects are actually our existing customers.
Oh, right. That whole your best prospects are your present customers idea. It's so easy to get caught up in chasing new leads that we forget about the gold we already have.
It's so true.
What does he say? Like, don't forget to water your own garden or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's basically saying, look, find ways to sell them something new, upgrade their current purchase, or maybe even expand into other departments within their company.
It's true. If they've bought from you once and had a good experience, they're more likely to buy from you again.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork. We've built that rapport. We've hopefully uncovered those real objections. What's next? It's closing time, right?
It is. But even here, Gitomer throws us a curveball with his whole approach to closing.
Okay, now you've got me curious. Tell me more. Okay, now you've got me curious. Tell me more.
So he actually says, the most powerful close in the world is not a close.
What? How can the most powerful close not be a close?
I know, right? He calls it the understanding close, and it's about, like, shifting your whole mindset from selling to helping.
Okay.
Like, instead of trying to just close the deal,
Yeah.
you become like this trusted advisor.
Okay.
You know your product inside and out, and you're able to explain exactly how it solves your prospects, their specific problems.
You're not just pushing a product.
Right.
You're really understanding their needs.
And you might even recommend something else.
Wow.
If it's a better fit, even if it's not what you're selling.
That's a really good
That's
thing.
what builds trust,
Absolutely.
that authenticity.
I mean, I'm sure there are times when you need a more direct close, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And Gitomer has some really creative closes. Have you ever heard of the puppy dog close?
The puppy dog close, that sounds adorable.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
I'm sure there's more to it than just being cute, though.
It's more like you're letting your prospect take the puppy dog, your product, home for a test run.
Okay.
They get to try it out, no pressure, no strings attached.
So like a free trial.
Exactly. Or letting them test drive a car.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're letting the product sell itself.
I like it. And there's another version of this where you're like planting the seed of ownership, right?
Yes.
You're talking about how much they'll love it.
Yeah.
And then you kind of back off and you let them come to you.
Exactly. Like, call me when you're ready to buy.
It's like reversing the roles.
It is. It's smart.
They're chasing after the puppy dog now.
Exactly. Exactly. But even after you've closed the deal, he reminds us that it's not over.
Oh, right. Follow-up.
Yeah, he's really adamant about having a system.
He says no follow-up system, no sale.
He means it. Remember, sales is about relationships, right?
Right.
You've worked hard to build that trust. You got to keep nurturing it.
So what's a good follow-up system look like? Is it just sending a thank you note and calling it a day?
It's about staying organized,
Yeah.
staying top of mind. He talks about everything from those old school Rolodexes
Right.
to all the fancy CRM systems we have now.
So many options.
I know, right? It's whatever works for you, right?
It's about showing them that you're not just trying to make a quick buck, you're invested in their success.
Exactly, exactly. And he leaves us with this really inspiring quote. He says, "Most sales are made after the 7th."
Oh, wow. Talk about persistence. It's a good reminder not to give up too easily.
Rejection is just part of the game.
It's true. This deep dive into the sales Bible has been amazing.
It's a good one, right?
It really has. It's really got me thinking about how I approach sales and the importance of just connecting with people.
At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right?
It really is.
And, as Gitomer says, sales success is an iceberg. The 10% you see on top requires 90% preparation and execution that people don't see.
So true. So do the work, build those relationships, and always bring your wow factor.
That's it.
That's all the sales wisdom we have time for today. Make sure to check out our show notes for links and resources, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.